2019, Weiser was certainly working up a bit of a storm when it comes to the ideas, and then unfortunately just didn't get any time to play on Sandbox, as we mentioned before. But here we are into pick and ban for game number 1. BRION Blade versus APK Prince. BRION starting on our blue side and are going to be banning away a Crocodile and an Aurelia.
Whoa. Look at that folder or whatever that is.
Damn.
Teamwork, creativity, challenge, fair play.
That's beautiful.
BRION Blade.
That's stunning. I just really like that they're sending out a positive message, even through their coach's workbook. Yasuo going to be banned away here as the Qiyana and the Akali. Now, Qiyana is a pick that has been seeing a lot of play over in the Demacia Cup. And with the buff to Serrated Dirk, I found it surprising that we didn't see any of it in our first match. But when it's Ian versus Fly in the mid lane, they're not assassin players. These are control mage players through and through. And speaking of control mages, it's going to be the first pick, Syndra, over on BRION Blade's side. And I think that this is sort of a pickup from the Demacia Cup side of things. Syndra has been seen as one of the safe blind picks in the mid lane. And speaking of safe blind picks, is this Varus Tahm Kench just immediately locked in by APK Prince? I would not put it past a bottom lane like Hybrid and Secret.
What about
Secret loved Tahm Kench.
MF still available? We didn't see that come in. Looks like they're not going to go for 80 carry yet, just yet. As they're looking at junglers, they're hovering over the 2 junglers we have seen so far, and they are going to go for the one that clears the Raptors real quick. And the other team is going to go for the blind guy.
And also, Lee Sin has been picked into Olaf like over and over again throughout 2019. Like, this is the classic other side of the matchup, and we saw Lee Sin win it twice in a row. So
is this not the same draft?
No, it's literally the same
did in
draft.
Game 1?
Yeah,
100% same draft.
Actually, I'm not entirely sure what APK Prince have picked, but I know it was definitely a second pick Olaf. It wasn't the Tahm Kench
from Rockhead last time.
Yeah, what did Rockhead play? And yes, I know that we're probably trolling you guys at home because it sounds so much like we're saying Rockhat. We're not. We're saying Rockhead.
Or Rocket.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. No,
Yeah,
it's
tough.
Rockhead players.
Players.
Players, yeah.
That's a Vayne. Okay, Hybrid. Thinking about pulling out the fun stuff and locks it in. All right, there we go. They're going to have to ban some things, though. I could imagine that Vayne into Misfortune is not a matchup that you want to take, like, ever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem good on paper. It feels pretty decent up against Aatrox Lee Sin. I don't know how he's going to survive an R-click from a Syndra or something like that.
You go invisible so that he can't click on you. And then run away.
You tumble backwards away from the Syndra.
Yeah.
And hope that's the case. They're going to take away Pike so that they take away another threat in the bottom lane. As it's only bottom lane left over for BRION.
Ooh, this is interesting. You can see BRION, they're reading into the dark technologies because they're seeing this Vayne and they're thinking that looks like a pretty spicy counterpick to our Aatrox top lane. And Ixu is the man that played Volibear and Singed and all sorts of ridiculous stuff. One of his favorites was Old Akali back in the day. But certainly one of the reasons why APK Prince qualified was because no one understood what Ixu was going to play. And he demolished people.
Yeah, and it's definitely an Ixu pick, so I like that they're responding to that pretty well. We saw the Senna ban come out here. It's played a lot in the 80 carry role nowadays. The Echo also seemingly a good pick into the Syndra, of course, but that is going to be banned away. So Rise left available, a very swift pick from APK. Gonna pick that one up for cover.
And could be for cover, could be for Ixu, of course. They could switch that one around, even put Hybrid and Secret on the Vayne Tahm Kench in the end on the bottom side anyway. But I think we're expecting this to be the counter matchup into the top lane. But that's the Misfortune. This is a really strong team coming out from BRION Blade. Remember, this was the Varus Tahm Kench round of picks for the Afrika Freaks in their game 1. BRION Blade going to be switching it up just a little bit, and it's with something like a Nautilus as well as this. That's a very scary team composition coming out from BRION Blade with a lot of power pretty early. I think Brom's absolutely fine as well. You're going to have a lot more control. A lot of them slows and stuns, which is going to keep people more often in that bullet time than not.
Yeah, and Braum is pretty fun into the Tom Kench, just getting his face.
Yeah, the classic pick, right? Yep.
Yeah, threaten to stun him up. As we are going to hover a Jhin here into the bottom lane.
Okay.
As
Been a
you
while.
Can tell, Secret is okay.
All right, never mind.
Nice little swapperino here to Veigar.
What does that mean? Brendan, you're the analyst.
What does it mean? Probably that it's going mid up against the Syndra and that the Vayne will be in the bottom lane. You'd have to imagine.
No. Ixu is definitely playing Vayne.
You think so?
Oh, guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be bot lane Veigar.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a Ixu pick. So, yeah, I suppose this is the way it is going to be set up.
Yeah, I actually quite like it. You've got a... Okay,
no,
never mind. The last minute.
Wait.
Top lane Veigar. We should have known.
Why didn't we pick up on this?
What is wrong with us? What a disaster.
Where's the analyst to get this right?
Oh, man.
Should have known that Ixu was playing Veigar top against Aatrox.
Trust Ixu to just immediately troll us. And we thought that we had him. We thought that we had him. We're like,
we had him red.
Yeah. You can show the Vayne, like everyone expecting it to theoretically go into the bottom lane, and then it does, and there's a Veigar top. Like, okay, cool. How does Veigar not just get murdered every time the cage is off cooldown? How can you put an angry Darken guy in a baby cage for all that long? I just think you can't.
No, I think he's just gonna sit back and kind of get crushed and try not to die in the top lane would be my good guess here, Atlas.
Well, it's going to be that blind pick Aatrox once again on the top side of the map, this time in the hands of Wiser as we get into Game 1 BRION versus APK Prince.
BRION, Hana, do it.
BRION Blade fighting! APK, Hana, do it. APK fighting. Oh, they were a bit off.
Man.
We missed the coordination on the APK Prince fighting.
Yeah, the APK one. I don't know what's going on with
I'm
that
really
fan.
sorry. I'm really sorry.
I think he's got something in his throat. Like, he should probably get that checked out, but...
That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll have a chat to the fans after this one. But we
Yeah.
are in, and we've got double invades going on. You can see Wiser. He's spotted everything out. As Luck of the Irish on the side of APK Prince, with the Leprechaun Veigar being picked up by Ixu in the top lane.
Well... He's going to need a little bit of luck here against Aatrox Lee Sin. I hope he's got... I hope he's ready for that lane, which could absolutely be... well...
Wait a second. Oh my... It is going to be Vayne top. It is... So we were half,
We should have
right?
known it.
We were half, right?
Come on, Atlas. We should...
Oh, no. And then Ixu's like... Yeah, I can play Veigar, dude. It's totally fine. And Hyper's like, oh, thank God, because I only know how to play 80 carries. Thankfully, Ixu can play in any lane. He just has to be Ixu. So we were like half right, half wrong. Like, I don't know. I think we did pretty well at trying to predict what was going to go on. But this is APK Prince. This is Ixu. He played Volibear in order to qualify his team into the LCK. So honestly, I'm not feeling too cut up about this.
I don't mind it at all. Go ahead. Test your luck. See how it goes. Obviously, the Vayne against the Aatrox is going to be pretty nice. You can roll away from all of his Q shenanigans, and you can also chase him down really well. You can harass him because he's melee. So initially, we were like, oh, yeah, okay, like Ixu playing this in the top lane makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
But then when he didn't pick him, we were very confused. But the swap makes sense. Ixu is definitely a player that can just go to any lane, I'm sure. In solo queue, he probably plays the weirdest stuff. And he's probably played Veigar in the bottom lane at some point alongside of a Tom Kench, which is going to keep that Veigar very safe, which is a question we were asking about the Veigar top, but in the bottom lane can be pretty nice. The question is, can he deal with the harass from the MF? As so far, they are getting pushed in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Misfortune, of course, just very strong in the early game anyway, as Kuma starting his first gank here. Of course, remember, he's got Flawless waiting behind him. So we'll see whether he can make this work. Immediate flash forward there from cover, and the flash to follow up there as well. So decisive, so strong first blood to APK Prince.
Yeah, you might expect if you're a Syndra in the mid lane that, you know, it's an Olaf on the other side. He's just going to farm his entire jungle, but hitting level 3 and just heading directly into the mid lane probably communicated that no wards were placed down. It was the perfect timing with the lane pushed up very far. And with the Rise, I mean, it's one of the best laners that you can gank into, regardless of what jungler you have. So they set up the kill very nicely for first blood. Good start here for APK on the red side.
Yep, let's see if they can continue it. Of course, setting up that spell flux very nicely, getting that root on the rune prison, everything working. But I just love it when a team presses their flash buttons going forward like this.
Yeah.
It's what we didn't see from Rockhead, and what Afrika were certainly doing more of, but I think we could have seen it more from them as well. I love decisive play, and APK is certainly off to the right start.
How about this, though?
Well, BRION Blade, they are going to find their own stun. Q going to land there, and there is no flash and therefore no life available. Jhin delivered the kill in the mid lane, an immediate answer back.
I like this team, you know, just gets
fun,
proactive.
man.
The second, you know, they communicate, hey, the Rise doesn't have flash. Syndra is not very mobile, but neither is Rise, actually. He is good for ganks just because he has a root, so able to get on in there with the help of your support. Nice little rotation to pick up the kill.
Yep, max range on the Scat of the Week there as well, and the flash forward from the support just to make sure that that was a guaranteed kill. So really nicely done. Minute getting in there very nicely. But it does give Ixu some time to farm things up, which is a weird thing to say because we're referencing a top laner who's in the bottom lane playing Veigar. It's very strange. It's like 3 different roles being utilized by this guy so far.
Mm-hmm. And that was absolutely a crucial gank for the Syndra as well, because afterwards, you know, as Syndra, you want to be putting pressure on. As I'm going to hold that thought. This Lee Sin has some really nice gank paths so far.
Yep, just absolutely skirting the wards here as the nice knock-up is going to land. There's the Silver Bolts. His hybrid just destroyed. Doyle making his presence known at multiple points of the map. Kuma answering here with a Cloud Drake, but Minute, he knows exactly what's going on. These rotations from BRION Blade are so strong.
Yeah, actually really cool stuff so far from BRION Blade, and the Lee Sin just being played so flawlessly here in the early game.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, flawless. Maybe coming out later today if Kuma can't get the job done, although that first gank was good for him too. Let's see if he can survive here. It's not looking likely. He's going to get dunked, and not much that cover can do.
Yeah. The undertow did land onto the Syndra, but that's the only positive thing that you can say, and he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Feels a little bit like he didn't really understand how far behind APK were when it came to map control, but only 600 gold is the lead, nothing really to speak of just yet, and a couple of minutes before the Rift Herald is available. The Drake not going to be taken there, as Kuma was trying to answer with that, but this is a BRION Blade playing that are, like, they're really covering their bases. They're making the plays, and then they're also covering the counter options that APK have. And that's not normally something that we talk about when it comes to these challenger teams.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't something we were talking about with Rockhead versus Afrika.
Yeah, it does feel like this game in some ways is higher level.
Which is weird,
in terms
right?
of the tactics compared to the first game here. I'm not sure what that says about Afrika, but definitely these two teams are impressing so far.
It does lead to some understanding as to why Keen was certainly not happy with his team's performance in the post-match interview, and I can understand that. As Ixu on his beloved Veigar, just having a bit of a scan of the jungle. And our cover now does have his Mercury Treads. Now, cover we need to talk about. It's a bit of an elephant in the room here. I think many people have been pretty vocal. I think that his play during the promotion tournament was probably some of the worst mid lane play that we've seen.
Yeah.
Like, almost, period. It's certainly left a lot to be desired. Missed almost every Emperor's Divide. It just was not great. He does have some work to do. But getting that first blood, starting things off nicely, and giving that over to Kuma as well means that he is going to be able to translate that lead elsewhere onto the map if he doesn't keep getting caught out. So we'll see after that Warrior Enchant is completed whether he can get work done. Nice sidestep. Speaking of which, That was a cast of blessing as opposed to a curse. We nailed it.
That happens sometimes. You know, you're talking about a player, and usually it's where you're praising the player, and then they just do something like super donkey, and you're like, well, I just look like an idiot now. But in this case, it's good because we get to cheer for the player and say, hey, it looks like he improved.
Yeah.
So good stuff for him. As Olaf just hanging around the top side, maybe looking for a counter gank here, keeping Hybrid safe in the top lane. Secret thinking about a little rotation Reno here up to the top side.
Yeah.
As the Rift Herald has spawned, but maybe just wants to help out the Vayne in the lane. I'm not sure that he needs it, so probably just around here to help out in securing this objective.
Yeah, I really like it. You've got an Olaf. You may as well utilize his extra power as far as clear is concerned and start off an early Rift Herald cover, going to take first rotation into this river as well, and Doyle has to move out. Q is going to land, teleport from APK. They want to guarantee this Drake, but it looks like BRION Blade don't want to give it to them. Ixu forced to flash, but Jin has been put into the baby cage. Good bullet time is going to come forward as Hybrid somehow secures the Rift Herald. It's a little bit of a disaster here as there's the flash over the wall from Hybrid to guarantee it, and I think that the Eye of the Herald was taken. It was by Secret of all people. Yeah,
Secret just kind of in the middle of the fight there, in the right place at the right time. Great positioning, and their escape was quite clean too. Able to get over the wall. One of them did devour, did Secret. He did have to flash. There were 2 flashes expended to go for that kind of play, but they get the Rift Herald in the end. They set up beautifully for this, but the response from BRION Blade was also very strong.
Yeah, I liked it. Teleport came in. This is APK really committing to this play. And you could see the Braum well and truly out of this fight. So it is 4 versus 5, but look at that. The Baron Pit's so beautiful when you get to layer a bullet time over it. And it was just unlucky that BRION Blade couldn't keep them all in there, as even Kuma surviving is a huge one. Getting all of the flashes to get over that wall, though. Only 2 expended, but Kuma holding on to his. Don't know whether that's necessarily great. I would have probably preferred to hold on to Flash onto the Vayne so that he could continue playing aggressively against Weiser, but is still utilizing this matchup quite nicely, very close to the Blade of the Ruined King, and does have quite a sizable CS advantage to the tune of about 17. And here this is what we were talking about, Brendan. We were talking about throwing down Shelly ASAP. That minimum damage now on 9.24B does a hell of a lot of work, as you just saw. We watched it completely destroy an inhibitor turret earlier today.
It's really good against turrets that do not have plates. Those plates going to help out a bit in defending it, but at the end of the day, you just have to wonder, is it worth it? You know, they pick up the Rift Heralds, they get some money in the mid lane, but it's less money now with some of the nerfs to plates. They have to expend a bunch of flashes, so they have to play passively afterwards. They're behind in gold, and they are the big-time scaling team. I mean, it's no secret with Vayne, Veigar, and Rise.
No, there is a secret.
Yeah,
I
forgot about that secret.
Whoops.
How about this secret?
Bait. Here we go. All of the chains land and kicked in the back of the head. That is a very dead Vayne.
Yeah.
Doyle waited for so long before that came out. As Kuma's like, yeah, I'm lying in wait. I'm going to kill you guys. You're not. And that's going to be a Q landing, in fact. Kuma's going to try and trade this one back. And yeah, Doyle, you still don't want to be 1v1ing the Olaf. Does get the Ragnarok out, though, and then safely escapes with the safeguard. No pun intended.
Yes. Whoops. So the work that is being done here in the early game, this is absolutely work that BRION Blade has to do. They need to get ahead by a significant margin and try to end this game in a pretty fast time. You see some movement towards the Drake now by Henna. We'll see if he actually does go for that. Notice that it's 12 minutes and no Drakes have been taken, so we saw earlier in the first game that the Drake take is very important, but how about this? The flash over the baby cage!
And Ixu just walks to the right! Oh no! If only he didn't know that sick strategy, the walk to the right, in order to avoid dying to the bullet time. Ixu didn't have his flash, and Henna now doesn't have his either. A little bit embarrassing towards that bottom side, but I like a man that wants to go forward.
Yeah. That bullet time just needed to be aimed a little bit to the right, and that would have been a kill. But
if it did damage to turrets, it would have done a lot of damage.
Hey, that would have been nice. Yeah, maybe pick up a plate, but that's
yeah, there you go.
not what happened, as Ixu just kind of laughed in the face of kind of his most likely less experienced. But how about another team fight here?
Yeah. In fact, the Super Soaker goes off. Secret on the bottom side of the map should be taken, but Minute might be traded for. No, goes into his stopwatch. A lot of orbs on the ground as now Cover trying to fight, trying to find the kills, but has to flash to get himself out of the way. Ragnarok blown there from Kuma, and APK Prince look a little bit lost at this stage of the game.
You see the Rise get pushed out of the way by Syndra to dodge the Lee Sin Q.
Yeah.
He's very much thanking
The counter
Jin right
synergy.
now. He's thanking him so much. Thank you so much. You saved my life. As this Drake was 100% going to be BRION Blades, and they ran straight down this tiny little hallway against a Braum. Generally not a good idea.
Yeah, it was pretty good positioning for the baby cage there as well. I mean, it really did keep BRION Blade in position, but there was just no one else to offer anything, and Hybrid is on the top side of the map. Of course, the Aatrox is up there as well, but I think in this 4v4, considering the state of the game, and the fact that there's a 2,000 gold lead here for BRION Blade, just not enough that they can do. Second Drake will be the Ocean, and very important as well that BRION was able to lock down that Drake. You mentioned scaling. Of course, you look at a Vayne, you look at a Viger, you look at a Rise, and you're feeling pretty good from the scaling aspect of things. Even a Tahm Kench can get work done tanking things up and keeping carries safe in the late game. So I really like your point, and it means that BRION Blade really do need to keep getting these Drakes. And now with Dragon Soul available, you get 4 of them in a row, and you're even more powerful. The snowball potential certainly is going to be there here for this squad. So let's see what APK Prince can do to even things up and to try and counteract what is a snowball starting to form.
Yeah. I really do like the Dragon Soul changes. We might have to wait here. Zixu is in a bit of trouble here, Atlas.
Yep, there's the Abyssal Voyage. That is going to deliver Kuma as well as Secret, but immediately Kuma's going to run the heck out of the way. That is a pretty clean safeguard kick flash, but Doyle not going to be able to secure that kill as the baby cage going to be helping defensively, and Make It Rain not going to kill Secret. He's running away with sub 100 health as Jin is looking desperately for a scat of the week. Lands it onto Ixu, and he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, and Wiser even once more. There is a Ragnarok available, so Kuma not going to get slowed, and that is one kill going to be going over to BRION Blade. However, the answer is actually going to be there on APK Prince's side. No plates to pick up, but 2 towers going to be pushed as Jin is walking very much in enemy territory to try and cover Cover's retreat. He's got the wrong name.
Nicely said, yeah. I agree with you entirely. Yeah, but it was a big commitment, you know. They all go down into the bottom side, every single one of them, all 5. With the TP being used by Wiser. They only pick up Ixu, I believe, in the end. Maybe Secret did go down as well.
Nope, just Ixu.
Okay, so just Ixu, and then a bunch of damage done to the top lane. The Vayne, once again, scaling on up. Yeah, he got killed a couple of times, but it's not really that big of a deal if you can outfarm the Aatrox and potentially get a turret early. Doesn't look like he's going to get the turret, but nice little rotation. I like BRION Blade being proactive. They really do have to. They have their Syndra very fed. They have the Aatrox on a pretty good spot here, as well as 2-0 and 3 Lee Sin. So they know they have to do this. They don't really have any choice. So get the turret, and now they're going to all commit in here to Shelly and try to get some more objectives early.
Well, Secret doesn't have a tongue long enough in order to lick anyone taking second Shelly. Do we have a name for Shelly number 2?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably
I
like
think we need to
her
come up with
younger
2.
sister or something, you know?
You'll have to leave that with us, guys. We'll come up with
Yeah,
Shelly's
we'll have to
sister's
wait for
name.
that.
Because we just never knew that Shelly even had a sister. As,
They had to wait until season 10 to reveal like the new character, right? It's they got to keep things interesting, otherwise, you know.
Yeah, the show got a little bit stale, so they need to magically reveal. And you have a twin sister.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's just every episode had only Shelly, so we were like, well, you know, we like Shelly. It's a good character, right? It was well designed and everything, and everybody's a big fan. But how about something new?
And it needs to be like a seaside based name.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out
Shelly.
like what it could be.
I never even realized
I was
that
thinking
Shelly
like
is
coral.
Shell.
Really?
Yeah, I just realized that right now after you said that.
Oh my god. Okay. Never mind. I actually used to call the Rift Herald Harold until I found out that she was a girl. And so Shelly became the thing.
Shelly.
She mentioned that she identified as a female. And Hybrid is going to pop the ultimate and look for Wiser. Avoids the infernal chains, and that's 5 people, dude. You are dead. Bullet time is not going to save anyone right there, and I'm not entirely sure what the Aatrox was doing because we were busy talking about names. But there we go. A lot of vision now being thrown down by BRION Blade to no avail. And they just lost their top laner. And that's it. That was the play.
Yeah. You know, I wish in this game that BRION had just started taking Drakes earlier. I think their objective taking with Shelly the second.
Hang on a second. Hybrid died. I didn't even notice. Did you notice?
Yeah, where did he die? What? I did not see that at all.
What?
I saw Wiser die.
Let's have a look at this again, shall we? Okay. I'm perplexed.
Okay, Vayne is up here on the top side.
Yeah, Ixu is stopping Wiser from going through the wall. Okay, here we are. This is where Hybrid avoids that. Bullet time was there. And then... Oh, Jin pressed button.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Ooh, nice. Just got a weaker at the end.
And that's why there was a baby cage there. And we didn't see it, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the minimap. You've got 2 play-by-plays. I'm sorry, guys. Just don't.
We don't look at the minimap. No, we only look at directly at the fight only.
We rely on the
how
other
they're
guy.
programmed.
It's because the other guy, the analyst guy, LS in our case, is normally just looking only at the minimap. So we have the entire rest of the screen to take care of.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to have to learn that new skill of looking at the minimap. Obviously, I don't do it enough in solo queue, or maybe I'd be more successful as a big rotation coming in here from APK. Trying to bully Wiser. That's not very nice, but it is spotted out.
This is Hybrid, like, being that Vayne player that's like, the only reason I'm losing is because I'm not getting ganks. And so their answer to that is to throw 4 people into the lane.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not quite good enough. But he does have himself a kill now, building towards the second item, Rage Blade, which is very standard on Vayne's these days. Henna, cancelling 3 auto attacks in a row. That was quite impressive. Maybe not quite as used to this ping or something like that. But anywhere in Seoul, you get fantastic ping, so I'm confused.
Seoul is great. I mean, even if you're in Busan, I think you get like 30 ping, so it's still really good, even if you're anywhere in Korea, basically. Maybe Jeju Island wouldn't be too happy with the ping. Probably sitting on like 60 down there.
Potentially,
not
but
100%
it's not actually that much further than good old Busan is from Seoul. So
just over
I think
the water.
Probably be fine. It's just geographically, South Korea just isn't that big.
Yeah, it's very small. It's about 1/3, I believe, the size of California. I've you know, those websites that like you overlay the 2 countries or the areas, and it shows you like how much of one is the other.
Yep,
it's something like that. Korea is very small, actually.
I find it very strange talking about sort of population sizes and things like that when referencing both places that I have lived so far, in Australia and in Korea, because Seoul, the city, has more people than the entirety of Australia. And Australia, as far... Yeah, seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And by like a large margin.
What are you guys doing now?
Actually, no, not a large margin. It's actually relatively similar, but yeah, just Seoul. Wow. There's more people. And the size of Australia in comparison to South Korea is ludicrously high. We have this problem with there being a huge desert in the middle of our country.
Yeah.
So it becomes quite difficult to live outside of, you know, relatively close to the coast. That's my excuse anyway.
It's a pretty good excuse.
Thanks, man.
As we're here in this game, APK is okay to have a lull state. They'd love to just sit back and farm for another 20 minutes. That would probably get them to a place where they're good. Whereas right now, you look at Syndra, you look at Lee Sin, Aatrox, even MF. MF not as much, but the top 3 are definitely going to be really happy with their item spikes right now.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd love to push the issue right now if they could. And you can see they're trying so hard to kill the Olaf.
If you're going to flash in Ragnarok, do it earlier. Kuma, before losing all of your health. Ixu almost loses all of his as well, but... Oh, no. Jin just flashes forward, picks up the stun as cover over on the side. Does a bit of AoE damage, but it's non-consequential in the end, and there's even an Ocean Drake to stop anything from being an issue. 45 seconds on the clock, and it looked, as far as Mountain Drake is concerned, but that is not what BRION Blade are looking for. They're looking for this Baron buff, and they should be able to lock it down. I mean, Secret's here, but I think the Secret's out, guys. There is sort of no saving this APK Prince at this stage, especially when it comes to stopping BRION Blade from taking a Baron, although it's very, very slow.
Yeah.
And at 23 minutes, maybe it's a little bit too dangerous, but now we're going to just start another fight. Redemption comes in. Kuma actually gets a bit of that health back, but Wiser dives into the backline. Huge damage as Hybrid in enemy lines, but it's just not going to be enough. Ixu trying to find his way back forward. The spooky ghosts are the least spooky that we have seen in a long time. They did delay the Baron, but they've sacrificed 2 of their members in trade for 1. And they're only continuing to fall further and further behind. I'm starting to sort of understand this hype for Wiser as well. I mean, played that team fight pretty well.
Yeah, Wiser is a beast. He's had a couple of really big team fights, and I'm going to have my eyes on him for the future team fights as well. We talked about dragon scaling. Notice that it's 24 minutes into the game, basically, and this is their first mountain that they are going to be taking. It's only going to be mountains from here, of course, but they got to pick up another one if they do want to get that Dragon Soul buff. But at the end of the day, I mean, 2 for 1 and stopping Baron when you're trying to scale this much is not half bad.
And not to mention the fact that it's Mountain Drake as well as an Ocean Drake already being there. That combo is just filthy. As this was pretty cute from Secret, actually getting the Regurgitate out into the Redemption, the max range. But yeah, Wiser dives into the middle of the last fight, even cleans up the kill there. Onto Hybrid. And it feels like our newly appointed LCK squad and APK Prince are really fumbling at this stage.
I didn't want to say it at the beginning of the game. I wanted to see how the game was going to go, but I did want to mention, you know, what happens if BRION Blade just, like, crush APK? What does that mean for APK moving into the LCK?
Well, I kind of never really had very many expectations for APK Prince. I mean, if you have a look at anything on the internet, I mean, I think there are transcriptions in English of what Cloud Templar said, as we're going to have a look at Wiser try and dive in onto Hybrid, but he does get punished relatively quickly. This Vayne is actually still relatively strong. Now still trying to dive forward. The Vayne spotting is certainly going to be there, though, as Henna just right-clicks his head, and he's just going to die. It looked like he was doing cool stuff, and then he was dead.
Yeah, you know, that was a weird start to that fight. I want to see the replay on exactly how that happened, and somehow the Aatrox did not die, even without Flash, against a Ryze and a Vayne who should be relatively good at chasing down a guy. We have the TP now. They're going to be going towards that Baron, not really wasting too much time as they're grouping up now to go for this objective.
Yep, not even waiting. Teleport is available here from Hybrid. He's up again in 6 seconds. Ward over the wall. I don't know whether this is necessarily the smartest idea, but it's decisive. I like it. Baby Cage goes down. It's only Minute that's caught out, though, and he still has the Unbreakable. This might just all be a bait, as now Wiser diving forward. That World Ender's there. The Devour, the Regurgitate. Ixu survives, but Secret is well and truly dead. And APK, they lose another one. This composition from BRION Blade just getting every pick that they could ever want.
So they get the pick. I think you immediately have to go back to Baron. There's not that much time to waste. We're already at 26 minutes. The Veigar, honestly, not doing that much damage, as it is Glacial Augment spec, and he's gone for the 2 Glacial Augment items, of course. But give him another item and a half. He's going to start dunking people, and the Vayne and the Ryze getting more and more healthy. Let's see if they can challenge the Baron for the 3rd time now, as Veigar is going to go down.
Yep, Bullet Time flying forward, picks up the 2nd kill with the next double up as well, as Henna wastes no time. Straight back to the Purple Worm, and I have a feeling this time BRION Blade should be able to take it. Undertone to a couple of members, as that double stun was beautiful. Now splitting the forces of BRION Blade as Wiser gets knocked into the wall. Good condemn there from Hybrid. Does have the final hour active and trying to escape from this one. Doesn't get the sweet spot as the Aatrox does fall down. But Hybrid, 1 versus 4. I'm sorry, mate. That ain't going to happen, as Henna once again ruins his day.
It was a nice try by him, but he actually
This is the
failed
most
a couple of
Vayne
times.
I have ever seen. It's
I know.
so incredibly Vayne. You know?
3 and 6.
Oh,
that's
super
the perfect.
vain.
That's the perfect
And 0.
score
The 0
line.
is the most important.
3, 6, and 0. You're right. It's
Yeah.
just like he just keeps on running into the fight and dying, but he like kills one person.
Like, but I got the most kills on the team, guys.
Yeah. Didn't you see how much damage I was doing?
Yeah.
God. Report Rise.
It's so classic.
Come on.
I guarantee Hybrid is not saying that to his team. They are professionals.
Yeah.
And also, the thing that's really funny is that Hybrid was sort of known as being like that more consistent, non-flashy AD carry, and he's now doing like entirely the opposite of playing like that. Oh man, it's so funny.
He's just like, he's trying to dodge the prom Q, and then he like misses a CS, and then he attacks a minion, and it's like,
Yeah.
Just imagine if like he was able to do that damage in a team fight while his teammates were tanking. They have some ridiculous scaling in their lineup, but 35 seconds until that mountain comes up and the Dragon Soul buff will be given over to BRION Blade. They're going to be pretty damn fed, as well as very unkillable, with a lot of survivability items in their composition, minus the MF. Although she does have a stopwatch at the same time with all that extra gold, 5, 0, and 6.
Super fed. Oh man.
And I don't know if the scaling is actually going to come online in time. It doesn't look like it.
Well, BRION Blade still looking for something more. I like it. Pressing the issue, trying to get their advantage. Is okay. Ixu trying to go for something, but he's so squishy. Look at that. No ultimate even available, even necessary. As Secret is going to be able to soak that kill with his gray health bar, but now Doyle finds his way into the backline. Special delivery of the Rise. Cover had nothing that he could do, as now it's Kuma trying to clean up a kill and does so. They're onto Jin. Might be an opportunity as APK can at least go back, but they've lost Kuma, they've lost cover, and they've lost their mid inhibitor turret and the mid inhibitor as well. And this might just be the game, to be perfectly honest. No Dragon Soul necessary for BRION Blade. And it was a cute little strat, cute little idea from APK Prince, but unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough when it came down to it. Ixu trying to defend here is, yeah, okay, you're dead. That's called a primordial burst to the face and a very deadly sin.
You gotta still be careful, I think, in this situation. Maybe take a page out of Afrika's book and take the inhibitor and back away. You don't need to push the issue right now against Bane and Veigar. You could have just gone back, picked up the Mountain Drake for the Dragon Soul buff, and regrouped and been a monster. But instead, they died, and now APK are actually going to come in here and try to challenge at the Mountain Drake, which is something they absolutely could not have done had BRION played this a little bit safer.
Yeah, BRION should have just backed off and taken the Drake, and now they're going to lose it because they don't have a jungler in this pit. Still looking for a potential play as, no, you're not going to be able to steal it with an orb over the wall. And so that is going to delay the Dragon Soul. Actually very meaningful that Doyle overstepped there in the mid lane. Hybrid's going to come in. We've got just a ulti to clear out the minion wave, but it's not even going to be enough as the baby cage is put down. Good double stun there as cover. Not going to die just yet. Eventually does fall, but Jin knocked into the wall. Does get a very late Zhonya's, but he's still going to die. The scat of the week was very cute, but not enough damage. And Henna being dead, in fact, the entire bottom lane as well as mid, means that this could be a continued push. And is this now the comeback for APK?
God, what is happening? This is, honestly, no offense to BRION Blade, but this is part of the reason why we don't really see them doing super well in the Challenger Series. If they had just made the safer play and backed away, they would have won 100%. Instead, they went for the 80%, or the 75%. They might just push to win right now. At least they're thinking about it.
Well, I mean, what was the mistake? What was the mistake that BRION Blade made? It was overstaying. Now, Doyle is going to land the Q, not going to press the Lee Syndrome button, and is going to survive. Misses that last one. Still wants to get another shot at it.
OTP.
There's the tongue lash. Yep, teleport going to come in here. We do have one back already happening as cover off to the side. Ixu going to be the sacrifice as that is the Guardian Angel going down. Unfortunate that his chosen target did have that, but probably didn't see that Henna had that one picked up. There's now Hybrid running down the river. The Vayne is now going to be teleporting out of there and should actually survive. No Scat of the Week available, I don't think.
Did she not see him?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. His cover. What is he doing there? Okay, well, I guess the game's over.
I think he was trying to catch the minions. That's the only explanation I really have.
Or maybe there was another fight that we missed out on while we were vein spotting. I'm not entirely sure, but Hybrid is going to be the last man standing. Certainly not what I was expecting based on his play so far today. As what was that? Make it rain. It doesn't matter. Sorry, bullet time. That is going to be the Nexus going down. 24 kills to 9. And BRION Blade, I mean, BRB, that was not BRB. They never stopped the aggression. And they are going to go up 1-0 in this series against a team that they struggled against in challenges, and who also promoted to the LCK. It's so strange that they looked so much better this game.
Yeah, definitely a weird one. I feel like there were a couple of throws back and forth. Like, we could have actually seen APK win that one, but then they overstayed, as you were talking about. BRION Blade, clean that act up, and I think you could be a very strong team in your own right. But unfortunately, the game got to a little bit of that fiesta mode towards the end of it, which I suppose we might be able to expect from these two teams. APK, though, I don't know, like that kind of felt like the witch Ixu in the top lane is brewing his evil potion. And he's like, today we are going to play Veigar in the bottom lane, and we are going to lane swap, me and you, the AD carry, and we're going to make this work. And they just got way too far behind. They got dominated early game, which BRION Blade's comp did lend itself to doing well at. BRION Blade, a lot of mistakes they made. It could have been a lot cleaner. They could have taken dragons earlier, gotten that dragon buff online. They could have backed off, of course. And in the end of the game, not very clean from either side.
In fact, the Yakety Sax needed to be employed for the last, 15 minutes of that game. Yeah. Certainly wasn't exactly the cleanest of video games. However,
you play the sax, don't you?
Yeah, I used to.
You should,
but
you should bring a sax to the
But
cast.
Yakety Sax, unfortunately, doesn't actually have any saxophone, I don't think.
Oh, really?
No.
Really?
Don't think so.
I thought it was. Isn't that a saxophone?
I don't think so. It doesn't sound like a saxophone.
Why else would they call it a yakety sax?
Maybe
it's a sax going yakety, right? It's going crazy.
Maybe my brain has just malfunctioned.
Well, if it is,
certainly,
you
I'll
should
do
just
some
bring
research,
it to the cast, and then when it goes into yakety sax, just put the mic down and start playing the yakety sax. That'll be more entertaining than actually commentating the game once it gets to this ridiculous part. As Weiser's a really good Aatrox, by the way.
He is. Do you know what I want to see less of, Valdez?
What's that?
Blind picking Olaf and having him consistently lose to Lee Sin.
There's only two choices in the jungle right now. It's Olaf and Lee Sin.
I mean, but what happens if one of them are banned?
Maybe you should first pick Lee Sin. And then the other team would be forced to pick Olaf because, again, there's only two choices. So
that's a good point.
That might actually be a good strategy.
I wanted to see the Conqueror Elise that has been gaining popularity. That was what I was excited for. That was the one huge mistake of Doyle, just going back to the highlight package there, guys. And this was the huge mistake of APK Prince. Also, they're like, if you guys can overstay, we can overstay better. And they certainly did, because the game was then immediately lost. They were behind by a lot, and having a look at the damage, you can see why Misfortune is so coveted at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's not exactly like Ezreal. That's the first thing that came to mind when I saw this damage, but it's really just a champion that can dish out insane amounts of damage in team fights. Obviously a very different play style to an Ezreal, but the same kind of idea where it's like, yeah, this person is just going to really keep their end of the bargain in terms of being a DPS, as the MVP is going to be Jhin coming in here for BRION Blade. Not sure about that choice.
Nope. My choice was certainly Doyle, as was yours, Brandon Valdez. I think that his Lee Sin play, especially around the early game, was very, very strong.
Imagine if that was solo queue and you had a Lee Sin that ganked mid lane like you did, ganked top lane with fantastic rotations and pathing, and got your early team comp ahead and got them ahead of the enemy scaling comp. You would all honor the Lee Sin, right? Not the Syndra that died to a gank and then got a gank to stay in the game and then press R.
Well,
okay,
there's
so
no need to
I do not agree with this. I am a little bit angry.
You need
Atlas.
You need to calm down. You need to calm down. This was a classic example of our team's Vayne and their team's Lee Sin.
Yeah.
That's the definition. We are going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan Valdez needs to calm the heck down, but he'll be calm when we get back for game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
너의 비밀을 알았더라면 우리는 달라졌을까? 매 순간순간 최선을 다해 반짝이는 너가 얼마나 아름다운지.
이제 고백할게. 좋아해. 네 키보드.
미안하지만 이대로 영원히 망가져버려.
핑키가 방수였다니 정말 다행이야. 너 지금 뭐 하는 거야?
너가 방수해서 다행이야. 미안해.
핑키야, 우리 다시 돌아갈 수 있을까?
Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out.
안녕하세요. The Lion, The Tiger 장민철입니다. 크리템입니다. 맹수들의 식사 시간이라는 이런 타이틀을 걸고 만나뵙게 됐는데 이런 캐스파컵이라는 상이 차려져 있잖아요. 이름도 약간 캐스파 컵바. 캐스파 컵또 해설 안 하신다고 들었는데 맞아요? 못하죠? 네. 사고를 한번 쳤어가지고. 그래?
껌이에요, 껌.
아프리카 프릭스 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 팀은 일단 다른 거보다 좀 외모가 엄청나다는 게 또 호평이 많아요. 아, 무기 좋다. 3명? 몇 명을 딱 정하지 마요 그렇게. 화제가 된 선수들이 실제로 3명이었어가지고 룩이 좋다. 보기 좋은 떡이 맛도 좋다. 유명한 셰프가 또 다시 들어왔어요. 완전 탑 유명한 셰프가 별로 없는 것 같아. 그건 맞아요. 하도 이 롤판이 오래되다 보니까 경력들이 다 높아. 다들 이제 커리어도 있고 커리어가 있어서 어떻게 보면은 레스토랑 오너에서 약간 주방장으로 내려온 최연성 감독이 있고요. 그다음에 한때 탑솔로, 한때 저희를 이제 국공에 취하게 만들었던 약간 아프리카 프릭스 그룹의 실력파 메인 보컬이라는 말이 나와요. 그렇죠. 프랜차이즈 스타. 최근에 또 이제 플라이, 미스틱 영입에 성공하면서 재밌는 재료들이 선택이 됐어요. 근데 플라이라는 식재료는 조금 너무 호불호가 갈리는 식재료가 아니냐. 딱 그 말이 정확한 거 같아요. 완전 극단적인 호불호. 홍어라든지 민트 초코? 야, 그 너무 센 거 아니야? 아니 극단적인 홍보를 하면서요. 하와이안 피자나 민트 초코인데 이게 메타에 따라서 호가 되느냐? 아 요새는 또 메라 그래야 되는데